A very informative episode of Star Citizen Live yesterday, and Mark Gibson here on the top right is going to talk about the rework, the gold standard rework of the 600i, a ship very close to my heart. It is my game package upgraded from the Phoenix. Let's hear what they say about it, and then we'll take a look inside the actual 600i and see if we can figure out what they're going to do with the exploration variant. Let's take a look. Well, let's watch what he says, and then take a tour of the 600.
A lot of folks have been talking about or asking about a 600i rework, and they've seen, because of the public roadmap, that it's currently underway. What can you tell us about the 600i rework? What scope of work should folks be expecting?
So the 600i rework is actually one of the things I've been working on, and when John asked me to go through it, we were happy with the exterior. The exterior looks great, but
He's not wrong. The exterior, I still say it's one of the sexiest ships in the game. The exterior of 600i, it's smooth, it's sleek, it's very unique looking. I love the outside of it. It's just the inside needs a little bit of tweaking. Let's hear what they're planning to do with it.
the interior just didn't line up with what we wanted to deliver from a gameplay side. So the interiors had nigh on a complete internal rework with huge amounts of features added to the ship. So it's still...
So this is actually quite a relief, because they're under no obligation to redo the interior. I mean, they've already gotten the money. We've bought it already. What's the incentive to improve it even more? Unless it's going for resale, they want to sell a bunch more of it. I guess that could be one thing. But if you had to choose between the 400i and a 600, if I was new to the game today and I had to choose between a 600 and a 400, I'd just take the 400. Just makes more sense. But hopefully, I guess what they're thinking is if we remake this ship and then remarket it, maybe they can sell a bunch more. It's very possible.
Still currently going through its interior iterations rework, but to give an example, because obviously there's not been much information out there about what's been added, removed, etc. It's now got a medical bed, so it's...
Medical beds? Well, listen, if you're an exploration ship, now with the death of a spaceman mechanic in, how do you go out 10, 15, 2, 3 days from some base and then explore? If you were tripped over a rock, hit your head and died on some planet, you got to be able to resurrect somewhere, which brings us back to my question, and maybe you guys have an answer. Maybe there's discussion on Spectrum I haven't seen, but currently the T2 beds do allow resurrection. Is this something they're going to carry forward, or is this still up in the air? The plan was only the T1 beds in hospitals can resurrect, but can these long-distance exploration ships with T2 beds do it too, or will they simply change T2 beds to be T1 beds in the exploration variants of these ships? If someone has an answer, let me know.
It's got a similarity of medical bed to the Carrack. It's got individual crew quarters. So, for example, before it had...
Yeah, that was one of the things, individual crew quarters. We're going to take a walk through the 600 after this, and I'll show you when you walk in. And the first time you see it, like, oh, okay, this is nice. But then after you see the new generation of ships, you realize this is a gross misuse of space.
That giant open area where there's just 4 little beds. So it's now got private crew quarters for each person. And the touring and the exploration version both have very different features inside them. So,
okay, that's a bit of a relief. The touring and exploration version, when they were sold, the difference was that you'd get the G12 buggy with the one and not the other. I think that was one of the small differences. There's no difference on the inside, but I guess they had it planned. But now we get to get a better idea.
With the exploration, you've got the medical bed, you've got a full-on armory now with places to put your suits, your weapons, and everything else.
So the current model does have an armory. I guess what they mean by full-on armory, what does that mean? Just entire racks of weapons and armor sets? Well, might be cool. I think I know where they're going to go.
As well as a little bit more gameplay towards the exploration side, as well as a proper vehicle cargo hold to put much bigger vehicles and a lot more cargo in, as well as a...
Bigger vehicles in the cargo hold, so larger cargo hold? Really?
Much better flow through the ship, and then the touring has been completely flipped on its head to lean completely into luxury guest transport.
Okay, interesting. Okay, keep this in mind. Touring, he just said, is going to move into more luxury guest transport. So I suspect a lot of the cabins will be high-end, made fancy, put gold inlay marble, whatever they do to make it look fancy. All right, I think I have an idea where they're going with this.
A big change to it was where we did the modularity as well. So currently the modularity was the middle section, and that's been moved to the rear section to allow a lot more changes between the different versions.
Okay, that's, I'm not sure where he's going with it. We'll take a look at the rear of the ship right now. There's that bar section, the observation window, that big massive bench where 58 people can sit. I guess they're talking about that huge empty space.
But it's not quite ready to show yet, which is why there hasn't been much talking about it. Like, we know people really want to know more about it, and
we do.
Obviously, the stuff that I've just listed off means people are going to have even more questions, but we're not quite there yet, ready to show people. But it has docking collars, it has the external lifts, it has escape pods.
External lifts and docking collars, escape pods they already have. Docking collars, I can kind of have an idea. We'll take a look in a second.
It does have a lot of new additions, although the captain's quarters, with the exception of the bathroom, moving one side to the other, hasn't changed. Because
curious, why would you have to move the bathroom in the captain quarters? Probably for the docking collar, maybe.
That was fine.
All right. Interesting. Okay, let's start with the last thing first. The docking collar, the bathroom moving. Why? Let's go into the game, take a look. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here she is. If you haven't seen her in a while, this is the 600i, the smoothest, the sleekest looking of Star Citizen ships. It is very pretty and obviously an upgrade from the Phoenix in my mind. Just a couple of things that got to change on the inside. So let's jump back into the ship and take a look from the cockpit itself. Big, wide open, no struts, which was a big selling feature back in the day. Remember that? The big fight over the struts. So getting out of the cockpit, let's take a step back here. The first thing you'll notice is, all right, here is the cockpit. From this point onwards, what is this? Why is this so big and empty? So the initial idea behind the designs of it, you know, big empty spaces just mean luxury, but it's not always true. I mean, why is there so much empty space here to get from here to the chair? Do you need this? Can this be filled with something? I suspect they'll be doing something about that. They may or may not. I don't really see a reason to. What's that? Oh, there's a... Holy cow, there's a step. In in all these years, in all the times, I've never paid attention. Wow, I never knew that was there. All right. Let's take a step back and move into this section of here. There's the escape pods. I'm not sure if these will stay or not. And on the right, there's the elevator up and down. And here is where the action will begin. So we take a step into what will be, I don't know. I love the fact you can see down. And you can see whatever vehicle, whatever cargo you're carrying in there. That's great. But this room here, what is this room? What is its purpose? It's a big empty space. Sure, you can have a map. You can look around your map. You can say, yeah, well, we are here and we need to get down there. But do you need this gigantic empty room? I don't know. Now, at the time when this was released, this was all very impressive. Wow, look at that. A big fancy room. But you walk into the next room. What is this? What is this room? There's two chairs back to back. What is the purpose of it? So I can guess that when they made it, they said, you know what, let's just stick some chairs in there to fill up some space. But is there a purpose for this? Will there be someone sitting here or an NPC sitting here just to make it look busy? Do you need to dedicate this entire room to what? What exactly is the purpose of this massive, massive space? Is it just to look like you have a luxury vehicle because you have space? Or is there another purpose? I'd like to think they will repurpose this. Not that there was something horribly wrong the first time you saw it, but when you see new ships like the 400, it makes you appreciate how to use space efficiently. So let's take a walk towards the back. Now, he said docking collars. Next elevator over there, and let's take a step upstairs now. The design from here is curious because if you want to get downstairs, this is the only way from the back. There's got to be another way, but there isn't. So coming up the stairs here, we get to what will be, I'm guessing, more of the armory. So there's already weapon storage right over here. These panels over here and here do not open. There's another weapon storage over here. Open sesame. Can you do it? Well, take my word for it, the same one. I'm going to guess that this becomes a full-on armory. These two racks will stay, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some armor racks over here where you can just put 2, 3, maybe 4 sets of armor on display for you right over there. Coming out, also fire extinguisher, which will work. And can you keep medical supplies in there? That'll be cool. And coming out and heading towards the back of the ship. So this is where the big difference between the touring and exploration variants will be. As a touring version and you're carrying guests and your mission is to carry a guest from A to B, I can imagine that this is important. You have a bartender here, you'll have guests sitting down and schmoozing over there just for immersion. But for practicality of not being a touring ship, what is the purpose of this? I mean, look at this massive bench. You can fit 50, 60 people sitting here. All right, it's curious. A couple of steps down, and a seat over there, and a beautiful view. Beautiful, wide open, panoramic view of everything you see around you. Nothing wrong about that. That's great. Coming downstairs now, you are met with another large area. And do we have some... I think this is cargo. Is this cargo? And components back here. It's been a long time since I've been in this ship. So, again, big, huge, empty space. Not really empty. So, here's 2 chairs. You can watch a movie. And there's a pool table over here. One day, maybe they'll be functional. And it's all white balls, apparently. So, I don't want to say this is wasted, but is there a more efficient use of this lower level here? I would say it's okay to leave as is for the touring version. Now, exploration version, that's different. Will this space here be used up for a larger vehicle? Will you be able to fit something much larger in? You can. You don't need this. An exploration ship doesn't need these chairs, doesn't need the pool table. They may be moving the lower ramp to bring a vehicle in, that maybe it's all taking place in the back here. Possibly. This door over here leads to, I guess, more cargo and more components down in the back over there. So, look, the design is not terrible. The design is good, but as far as exploration goes, the space is massive. I'm really, really curious to know what they're going to do with it, which brings us to the next thing I want to do is go take a look at the crew quarters. So, there is no way to get to the crew quarters from here. The only way was, for now, to go all the way back up here, go through this door, walk down to the elevator, call the slow elevator, which is coming up very slowly. The 400i has such a nicer one. It's better, right? Sure, the G-forces will be jarring, but lower deck, let's go. I mean, if you like the realism of it, this is probably closer to what real life should be. And here we are. Lower deck, and coming down, there's the hangar over there. Coming down, this is the area which is confusing because, and I always remember the first time I walked in, like, wow, that's impressive, but really, what is this? Steam? I mean, does someone have sinus issues? They have to pump through steam or something to keep the humidity up? Is that what it is? A curious design. I can only think that whoever made this just said, you know what? Beds are only used for log in, log out maybe, so it doesn't have to be fancy, but role players love having a proper room in there, and if you have a crew and they want their privacy in-game, that is, having your own quarters is nice. So I can only imagine that the actually luxury touring version will have cabins and maybe not so many beds, but 2 or 3 luxury cabins at least for them. This made no sense. I mean, your buddy's sitting over there and you're sleeping over there, and he watches you sleep, right? Is that what's supposed to be happening here? So this room will obviously change. These will change into single crew quarters. I can see them making use of the space, but simply, it doesn't have to be massive. I mean, the walls can simply start over here and end over there to create 4 separate crew quarters. The back over here, more escape pods, more storage, and the washrooms. I don't see much need to change this. This is pretty good on its own. Sure, the toilets can probably do the new sliding in and out mechanism. The showers look good. Maybe a new shower head. Actually, no, that looks pretty decent. That's a nice one with a light in the middle. So I see no reason to change the actual washroom section itself. Maybe they keep that. But this area really is, I think, the main thing they can change very, very easily. Even the 890 jump had its own cabins. They can really just cut and paste those 890 jump cabins right into this area and be done with it. So let's make our way through to the front now. curious to know if they move this entire area to the back, if they want to hold a larger vehicle. Obviously, the vehicle is constrained by these two pillars over here. You can't fit anything wider or with wings. So the exploration version might be getting a brand new hangar over here that can fit something larger and move it to the back. That could be it. Let's make our way to the front of the ship now, captain quarters. And he says they're going to move the bathroom from this side. And this is something a lot of people missed when the ship first came out. They didn't know this was there. They're going to move it from this side to that side. Why? So what's going to be on this side? This very well could be the docking collar. In fact, it makes perfect sense. Docking collar side of the ship over there comes out right over there. Elevator then will have to move because the bathroom's going to be over there. So that is a big change. It's moving things around. Interesting. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes. Obviously, I would love to be using this ship more, but again, I tend to jump in the 400 now more than ever. But if there was a reason, well, you know what? Medical beds. Med beds. Yeah, could this be the med section over here, the medical bay? Yeah, that would work. Toss in a medical bay into this ship, and I will definitely be making a lot more use for it. Those of you who run bunker missions know how important it is to get a good medical ship stationed right outside where you need it. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, the old 600i. Hope you had a good look, because from the sounds of it, this is going to change into something very, very different and very special. Looking forward to it. And that wraps us up. If you enjoyed this content, you know what to do. Thumbs up, subscribe, comments below. I'll catch you in the next one.